Hello class, today I'm going to show you how to create a three-dimensional or 3D paper sculpture. To make our sculptures, we're going to use a combination of forms and shapes. A form is any three-dimensional object. A form can be measured from the top to bottom in height, side to side width, and front to back depth. Also a general term that refers to the structure or design of a work. A shape is a flat figure created when actual or implied lines meet to enclose a space. A change in color or shading can define a shape. Shapes can be divided into several types: geometric, such as square, triangle, or circles, and organic, or freeform shapes, which are irregular in their outline. The materials you will need for your three-dimensional paper sculpture are paper in assorted colors, glue, a ruler, scissors, a pencil, a circular object to trace, and a large sheet of board to adhere your sculptural pieces to. Alrighty, to get started, I'm going to show you how to make a roll or a cylinder. I'm going to take a piece of paper and I'm going to cut it down to size. See, the cylinders can be in all kinds of heights. This one is going to be pretty small or short. So pretty simple. You don't need to make any folds to make a cylinder. We're just going to glue our paper shut just like this. Remember, dot, dot, not a lot. So on one of the edges, I am going to put dots of glue along the edge, one of the edges of my paper. Dot, dot, not a lot. Little dots of glue. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the other side over top. And because the glue is not dry, if I were just to let it go, it would come apart. So I'm going to hold it together for about 5 to 10 seconds so that the glue can absorb. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That seems to be good enough. And now it will stay cylindrical. So that is my cylinder. To make a cone, we're going to trace a round object. So depending on the size of the object, if it's a large round object and you make a cone, you're going to have a large cone. If you trace something that is smaller, such as maybe my cylinder, if I were to trace that, I might have a smaller cone. So there's my circle. I'm going to cut out my circle. I will just cut a little part of my circle, so it's like this, and I'm going to just kind of overlap those flaps to make my cone shape. It can be a very shallow kind of cone, or it can be more a higher cone. Like so, higher and smaller. So I'm going to also do the same thing I did before. I'm going to put some dots of glue on the flap here. Dot, dot, not a lot. Along the edge of the flap. I'll put another dot over there too. Hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. There I have a cone. If I want, I can also go back and trim my cone so that it's all even. There we go. And then I could glue this down on a surface, or I could attach it on top of another form. First thing I'm going to do is fold a flap. So I'm going to go ahead and fold part of this paper. This flap is going to help me attach my form to itself. So I have my first fold where my flap is, And we know that a rectangular prism has 4 sides, so I'm going to go ahead and fold the entire piece of paper in half, including the flap here. I'm going to go ahead and fold that. Go ahead, crease it with my finger. I could use my fingernail or even a ruler to crease my folds. So now we have technically 2 sides for our rectangular prism, but we need 4. So the next thing I'm going to do is fold both sides to the middle crease here. So I'm going to fold it in half again. Crease it really well. Okay, and do the same on the other side and include this flap here. There we go. There we go. So now I have the 4 sides of my rectangular prism along with a flap here that's going, or tab, that's going to help me hold it shut. I'm going to actually put some glue along this tab right here. Dot, dot, not a lot. All the way down this tab. Okay. And then I'll just hold it together. And we need to hold it in place for about 5 to 10 seconds so that your form will stay in place. Let's hold it down. If your form is too narrow and you can't get your hand in there to help support the side of your form so that your glue will adhere, you can use a pencil or something and kind of lay your form against the table so that the glue helps attach all sides of your form. So for a triangular prism, you need 3 sides to make the triangular prism and then a tab. So first I'm going to go ahead and fold my tab. It needs to be big enough so that you can put glue on and it won't make a mess. And then now I need to make the 3 sides of my rectangular prism. Now I'm just going to eyeball it. If you want it to be really, really technical, you could go ahead and take your ruler and measure out those 3 sections for your triangular prism. So I'm just going to eyeball it. So I need 3, so that looks like 1 side there, 1 side, and now I'm going to fold this in half. Let's see, fold it in half like so. And now I have the 3 sides of my triangular prism and its tab. Same thing as the rectangular prism, I'm going to go ahead and put glue along the tab, dot, dot, not a lot. All the way down the tab, not too much glue, and go ahead and hold down that other side 5 to 10 seconds. And there you go, you have a triangular prism. I'm going to go ahead and show you some flat shapes that you can then attach to your forms to kind of bring your sculpture together. I'm going to cut a strip of paper, and for the loop, let's see, I'll make it a smaller piece. And I'm just going to put a couple dots of glue on one end of my paper and then hold it in place, kind of pinch and hold like so. Hold it, hold it. And there I have a loop. And I'm going to cut a fringe, so I'm going to pretend that my paper stops here, about here, and I'm going to cut all the way across and stop here to create my fringe. So stop about there. So leave like about 1 inch or so on the other end of your paper that you're cutting. Your fringe can be as narrow or as thick as you like. The thinner your fringe is, the more fragile it is, and the easier it is to kind of ruin it. To make a curled fringe, what I like to do is take a pencil and kind of wrap the paper around the pencil, kind of curl it. You can kind of bend it onto there, so I'm just going to kind of twist it and then it curls. Kind of twist, kind of wrap it around the pencil. You gotta be careful not to rip the paper. And there we go, we have a curled fringe. Next, pleated fringe. So I'm gonna take this piece of paper and same as the regular fringe, I'm just gonna cut some pieces. This. There's two ways of doing the pleated fringe that I can think of. Cut your fringe, and then you could individually fold each piece to make it pleat, or the easier and I think faster way of doing this is get another piece of paper. And before I start cutting my fringe, I'm going to go ahead and fold it back and forth like you're making a fan. You want to leave part of the other end of it unfolded. Now what I'm going to do is cut my paper. You can cut it folded, or you could unfold your paper and cut your fringe that way. So I showed you how to curl your fringe. You could also just curl your paper. Make it whatever width you like and go ahead and wrap it around your pencil and curl your paper. I'm going to curl this one so it curls in different directions to make like an S curl. Okay, curl. Now let's go ahead and show you how to attach your forms and your shapes to your board. So I've got some board right here, and just like the tabs that we use to fold our whole form together to kind of glue it and secure it in place, we're going to put tabs on the bottom of these forms to attach them onto our mat here. So I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and cut some tabs along, let's see, I'll cut my corners first. Cut my corners and then go ahead and fold the paper back. So your tab should be about an inch. Fold it back. And then I'll put glue on my tabs, and then I can glue down my form onto my board. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to take my glue, dot, dot, not a lot. Dot, dot, not a lot. And I'm going to put this form right about here. Hold it for 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, that's not going anywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and do my next form. For any round forms or any forms that have round sides, it's best to do multiple tabs, not just the corners. Obviously a cylinder does not have any corners. I'm going to go ahead and cut tabs around my cylinder and then fold each of those tabs back. That, and put glue on each of those tabs. There we go. Dot, dot, or actually I put 2 dots because I'm not using a lot of glue. And I can put my form wherever I like. I can leave space in between. You could have a neighbor at your table help you hold down your forms if you like, or do a couple of them at a time. 5 to 10 seconds. Okay, and on this side. Alrighty, so got all of that down, and I've got my, let's see, rectangular prism. I think I might want to cut this one. I'm going to cut it down. And I'll have two rectangular prisms. I'll put one here, and then maybe one over here. Ah, it's like a diamond or rhombus. Alright, let's do that. Alright, so tabs on my corners. When you are making your tabs, try to make them all the same width. Fold all sides. Dot, dot, not a lot. Dot, dot, not a lot. Alrighty, let's not forget our cone. You could add tabs, or if you wanted to glue this down onto something flat, you could just put glue along the edge of the paper here, hold it down in place for a couple seconds until it's adhered to your board. If I had a smaller cylinder, this cone would be perfect. See, I could attach it here because that's flat. Or I could make a tab. Let's see, I'm gonna make a tab on top of this rectangular prism. A tab top. So I'm gonna cut a rectangular piece of paper that's larger than the top of my rectangular prism, and I'm going to go ahead and fold down the edges like this to kind of make the tabs of the top of my rectangular prism. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on both of these tabs, dot dot, not a lot. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and glue this down and hold down the sides of my tab top. Okay, that should be good. And now I have a flat surface that my cone can sit on top of. So I'm just going to carefully put some glue around the rim of this cone here. Not too much glue. You don't need it dripping down like it's a melting ice cream cone. I'm going to hold the middle of it here. Okay. And I'm going to pinch the top of my cone and carefully place it on top of my tab top. Now let's go ahead and add some of our shapes to our sculpture. Let's see. There's another tab you could do. So here's a strip of paper. I'll do two different ones. I'm gonna go ahead and fold both of these strips of paper in half. And on one side of this folded shape, I'm going to cut my tabs all the way up to the crease. What these tabs allow you to do is bend your paper to create really cool element to your work. So I'm gonna alternate these tabs. So one will be this way, one will be up, one will be down. So down, up, down, and up. So this one's got a lot of flexibility. Keep in mind that these tabs are going to be glued on the bottom, so it'll sit like so.